Hi, my name is Vinit Tipnis, and this is my project, AI-powered philanthropy, effects on volunteer productivity. Let's begin. The motivation for this project came with the rampant growth of artificial intelligence in the last 2 years. AI has rapidly changed the discussion around workforce management, with managers investing in AI to improve the productivity of their workforce and also investing in AI to replace their employees in some cases. Academics are studying how AI can lead to productivity gains, but a lot of this conversation exists only in the paid labor or the for-profit domain. But what about nonprofit organizations? There are tools being released specifically for nonprofit organizations, which can assist nonprofit employees and volunteers. When we look at workforce management for nonprofits, it is hard to ignore volunteers because 80% of the nonprofits in the country use volunteers in some capacity. Volunteers are not just free labor, but also ambassadors and potential donors for nonprofits, which means nonprofits will have intrinsic motivation to not just replace volunteers, but use AI to enhance their productivity. But very little attention has been given to how AI affects volunteers, which naturally brings us to our research question: how does artificial intelligence impact volunteer productivity? To answer this question, we use data from an online volunteering platform called Humanitarian OpenStreetMap Team Tasking Manager, or HOT. It is a fairly large platform with over 3,000 projects posted and 645,000 volunteers who donated their time just in the year 2022 and 23. On this platform, a task takes the role of volunteers tracing buildings and roads on Google Earth images, which eventually creates a map which can be used by disaster response organizations. On 6 February 2023, Turkey and Syria experienced massive earthquakes, and during this time, the platform enabled an AI tool called Rapid. A large number of volunteers were uh, exposed to AI or the Rapid tool during this time. What does the AI tool look like? Let's take a look at an example. Let's say this is a sample project on the platform. You know the editor, you know what you need to map. You as a volunteer will go and click on one of the squares, which is an individual task. Once you click on a square, you are presented with a Google Earth screenshot of that area. Your task is to trace the roads and buildings, which you can see has been partially being done in this square. When Rapid is enabled, it detects the buildings and roads and highlights them in magenta. Your role as a volunteer is to either accept or reject these and then move forward. So the treatment for our study is volunteers who use Rapid at least once during this time period, and we track their weekly contributions to the platform after their treatment. Using a staggered difference in differences approach, what we find is that treated volunteers reduce their weekly contributions to the platform by an average of 7.5%. And in the post-treatment period, the weekly decrease or weekly in productivity varies from week to week, but is consistently negative. Furthermore, this effect is contingent on the experience of the volunteer. On the platform, based on the number of tasks that you have finished, you have different ranks given to you. And what we find is that beginner volunteers face the negative effect of being introduced to AI, whereas advanced volunteers actually increase their weekly contributions to the platform once introduced to AI. Intermediate volunteers have no significant difference in their contributions after being introduced to AI. To summarize, what we find is that for nonprofits who are interested in rolling out AI to their volunteers, they should be careful in the implementation, since AI can have a negative effect on volunteers. And this is due to volunteers feeling reduced impact when they start using AI. What we also find is that the effect is contingent on volunteer experience, with advanced volunteers exhibiting a positive an increase in their productivity, and inexperienced volunteers seeing a decrease. So nonprofit organizations can roll out AI to advanced or experienced volunteers and use experienced volunteers to educate the inexperienced volunteers to mitigate the negative effect that can arise out of AI being introduced to the inexperienced volunteers. Thank you.